Jackie O, Enron, and Will Smith are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is December 2nd, 2022. It is the 336th day of the year. You got 29 days left in 2022. It is the 48th Friday in the 48th week and the 72nd day of fall. You got 19 days left until winter. If today's your birthday, your birthstone is a turquoise or a blue topaz. I like those ones. Those are nice. Turquoise were really big in the 1970s. I think they still are to a degree, but back in the 1970s, everyone had some kind of turquoise jewelry. And then for some reason, everyone started claiming some kind of Native American ancestry. Everyone did it. It was weird. And it was never any weird Indian tribe. You know, there's some lesser known ones, but it was always all, I'm 1/10 Apache. I'm 1/16th Cherokee. It's always so proud of it. You never heard of anyone going, I'm a quarter Hopi Indian. Or like my family. I think my dad's side of the family is Choctaw or something like that. Today is National Build Joy Day. National Build Joy Day is celebrated on December 2nd each year. It was created by Taylor Morrison, a premium American home builder and developer in 2017. The firm believes that cultivating joy along with designing sustainable homes for customers is the true path to joy for people who need it the most. Their collective efforts have been so impactful that they have managed to touch the hearts across the nation. Feeling inspired? If so, join hands with Taylor Morris and build joy in your own community. That sounds like a commercial. I assure you it is not. I think it's pretty interesting. They're not paying me to say that. All right, let's see what else December 2nd has given us. 1823, the Monroe Doctrine. In a State of the Union address, U.S. President James Monroe proclaims American neutrality in future European conflicts and warns European powers not to interfere in the Americas. This was basically the United States drawing a line in the sand. There was all kinds of European interests throughout Central and South America and all the different islands in the Caribbean or whatever. But basically, the Monroe Doctrine is best known as the U.S. policy toward the Western Hemisphere. Buried in a routine annual message delivered to Congress by President James Monroe, the doctrine warns European nations that the United States would no longer tolerate further colonizations or puppet monarchs. The document was conceived to meet major concerns of the time. Basically, we're putting European nations on notice. We would defend the Western Hemisphere, basically. The Monroe Doctrine was invoked in 1865 when the U.S. government exerted diplomatic and military pressure in support of Mexican President Benito Juarez. This support enabled Juarez to lead a successful revolt against the Emperor Maximilian, who had been placed on the throne by the French government. Again, almost 40 years later, in 1904, European creditors of a number of Latin American countries threatened armed intervention to collect debts. President Theodore Roosevelt promptly proclaimed that the right of the United States to exercise an international police power to curb such chronic wrongdoing in his so-called Roosevelt Culinary, which is an extension onto the Monroe Doctrine. Now, when we originally did the Monroe Doctrine, we didn't have the military might to really stop Europe from doing anything. Well, flash forward, now we do. Now, this was good and bad in a lot of different ways. Basically, it kind of opened the door for the United States to kind of act like the Europeans had been acting. That's how we got Puerto Rico, Guam, the Philippines, different things like that. And we were doing just what they did. It seems like that mentality of nobody else can pick on your little brother, only you can. 1845, the Manifest Destiny. In the State of the Union message, the U.S. President James K. Polk proposes that the United States should aggressively expand into the West. 1930, the Great Depression. In the State of the Union message, a lot of president stuff going on today. U.S. President Herbert Hoover proposes a $150 million public works program to help generate jobs and stimulate the economy. So that's just a fact of life. The economy's down, start some public work projects. That'll stimulate the economy. It's just too bad these days politicians are working to get reelected and not working for the American people. I mean, there's always been a level of that, but these days it really seems like if someone comes up with a great public work project, nobody's going to get on board, even if it's going to mean jobs and income for your state. If it's going to be good, the other side opposes it just to oppose it so you don't do anything good. If one side's doing good things for the American people, that means the other side might not get elected because they don't look as good as the side doing those projects. It's just confusing. 1942, World War II. During the Manhattan Project, a team led by Enrico Fermi initiates the first artificial self-sustained nuclear chain reaction. 1943, World War II. A Luftwaffe bombing raid on the harbor of Bari, Italy, sinks numerous cargo and transportation ships, including the American ship SS John Harvey, which is carrying a stockpile of World War I era mustard gas. As you can imagine, that becomes a problem. 1970, the United States Environmental Protection Agency begins operations. 1993, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar is shot and killed in Medellin. 2001, Enron files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I have a conspiracy. I'm not into a lot of conspiracies. I really think most of them are a joke, but I've developed my own conspiracy where these extremely rich people that are well connected, when they're apparently going to jail, all of a sudden they die. Just mysteriously. I don't think they're really dying. I think they're all living on an island someplace. But the head of Enron died, Kenneth Lay, before he went to prison. He was definitely going to prison. Most of his underlings went to prison, and he was going to prison, but apparently he died of a heart attack. Then, of course, you got the Jeffrey Epstein thing. He was definitely going to prison, and he dies. There's been other cases like that, but those are two of the main ones I've picked up on. 2022, Will Smith has a movie out. Yes, we thought we wouldn't see him for quite some time after that Oscar slap, but here he is. It is a historical thriller called Emancipation. It's about a runaway slave that traverses through Louisiana on a torturous journey to escape a plantation owner that nearly killed him. So I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Kind of not a big Will Smith fan anymore since that whole Oscar thing. I mean, Chris Rock was making jokes and made a small, really not terribly offensive joke about his wife. And Will Smith goes up there on a public stage at the Oscars, one of the biggest nights in television, and slaps the man. I just don't get it. It's not how an intelligent, successful man handles himself. If he had a problem with it, he should have gone backstage and talked to Chris Rock about it afterwards. Anyway, it is only on Apple TV Plus, so if you got that, you could watch it. Movies released on December 2nd. Yeah, I already talked about Emancipation, but this one needs to be mentioned. 2016, Jackie. This is about Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. After the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Jackie Kennedy must deal with the trauma and grief while consoling her children, consoling the nation, and maintaining JFK's legacy. It was a really good movie. Natalie Portman played Jackie Onassis Kennedy, and she did a good job. John Hurt was in it, along with Billy Crudup and Beth Grant. Really good movie if you get a chance to watch that one. The movie was shot in Paris, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. The movie was nominated for 3 Academy Awards. Didn't win any of them, but it was nominated. Born on December 2nd, 1981, Britney Spears. Everyone knows who she is. Pop superstar whose first 2 albums, Baby One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again, both sold over 20 million copies worldwide. She released another 6 albums from 2021 to 2013 and starred in her feature film debut, Crossroads, in 2002. That was an okay movie. She was rejected after auditioning for the 1990s revamp of the Mickey Mouse Club and moved with her mother to New York to enroll in the Professional Performing Arts School. Now, then she went crazy and there was a lot of drama that went on in her life, and apparently she has her life back together somewhat. Basically, her dad for years had to oversee everything that went on in her life, and she finally went back to court and got him kicked out of it, and I don't know the whole deal. There was rumors of missing money and how much he was actually getting paid and just all kinds of drama. So what does that make her, 41 today? God, it seems like just yesterday she was 17 or 18. Died on December 2nd, 1982, we lost Marty Feldman. Everybody knows him. He's got those crazy eyes, actor who is best known for his role as Igor in Young Frankenstein, which if you've never seen Young Frankenstein, it is Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks at their best. He first wanted to be a jazz trumpeter at age 15 and then got into acting. He married Loretta Sullivan in 1952 and their relationship lasted until his death in 1982. Gene Wilder wrote the role of Igor for Young Frankenstein with Marty Feldman in mind. Sadly, Marty Feldman died of a heart attack in a hotel room in Mexico City on December 2nd, 1982, at the age of 48. He was making a movie called Yellowbeard. Graham Chapman was with him at his death. Graham Chapman, of course, was a member of Monty Python, who also died at the age of 48. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.